Hello, it is Jack here from AnR Gaming. Hello and welcome. It's stream time again already, and it's a bit of an unusual one. It's a stream on a Monday. Obviously, the reason why we're doing a stream on the Monday is due to the issues we had before with, unfortunately, what was happening with Alex on Wednesday previously. To this day, we still don't fully know actually what went wrong, but things did go wrong. Hence why, when you look back at that VOD, it's only like half an hour, and behind the scenes, when you couldn't see, there was a lot of troubleshooting going on of trying to figure out what was going wrong. And the only thing we could really find was something had to have been going wrong on YouTube's side, because everything else was working fine for us. We were able to do voice chatting, do a whole bunch of other stuff, all perfectly fine. We don't really know what was going on, but that was then. This is now. And now is stream time with me. So yes, if you don't know who I am, I'm Jack. I am the R here on AnR Gaming. And we're going to be doing some Destiny. So yes, we can finally do Destiny. This is what Alex was meant to be doing the first Destiny stream on Wednesday, but as I was just saying, it didn't go very well. So instead, this week we are going to do a week of Destiny. Obviously, it's going to be me today. On Wednesday, it's going to be both me and Alex, and then on Friday, it will be Alex doing a stream by himself. And hopefully things should work out fine. Obviously, we will see how things go, but yeah. But yes, we can do Destiny streams now. And for me, this has very much been a thing which I've been very much looking forward to. I am a very, very big Destiny fan. I very much like Destiny, so I am looking forward to be able to do some streams and stuff on this. I do have a few things planned of stuff I can do for streams of Destiny. Those being that I can do some different builds, I can test stuff out, see what the current meta is going to be like, test out some interesting things that you can go on there, do some challenges with those interesting builds, and I also want to revisit the stories of Destiny. Now, we can't really do those in a video due to how we like to structure videos, but on the stream, the plan is I could go back and solo legendary campaigns for the Witch Queen and the latest one, which is Beyond Light. Not Beyond Light, no. Beyond Light didn't have a legendary. This is Lightfall. Lightfall, that's it, yeah. So yeah, we can have some fun with that. I'm also eating mints because they're nice. I haven't had mints in actually ages as well. But to get started with this stream, the main idea is we're going to get started with a lot of things that I couldn't actually fit in the video. So this is going to be like an addendum to that. So this is going to be linking on from that. To the point of I might even link in this stream after that video, just so people are like, hey, here's some extra stuff you might want to know. And also, hey, we do live streams. So, fun. But hey, if you don't like our live streams, I've just got to ask, what is wrong with you? What is wrong? Like the live streams. Do it. Do it. So yeah, there's that as well. There's that as well, which is always fun. I've been having some fun messing around with stuff that I can do in these. But yes, let's have enough of that. Let's get into the game, shall we? So yes, here we are. We are in Destiny. And honestly, I've realized that I can probably just take off the music because Destiny has really good music on its own. So let's turn off that music. And let's enjoy Destiny's music, because Destiny music is great. And it's actually really fun. But at the same time, with the actual backing music, I might come back to it, and depending on what we're doing in it, I might add music in again. But yes, okay. So, this is what the map in Destiny looks like now. I know I'm cutting off a few planets. All you're missing here is Dreaming City and Nessus. This is what the game map looks like. Just because I don't think we ever actually showed it in the video, really. I think we always edited it. I think I always edited around it, so I don't think we ever actually showed it, like, at all. So, figured I'd just put it in here. But, so, first thing I want to get to in this is Guardian ranks. Now, you've noticed in the thumbnail, I'm only Guardian rank 6, which is veteran, but I'm very close to becoming elite. As you can see, I'm 1 away, and the only thing I need to do to get that 1 is get up to 1800 power. Now, you look at my character and think, you're already past that. I'm not. I'm actually only 1798 power. But my artifact is giving me a plus 11 bonus. So we need to fix that. But yes, that is the main thing with this, is that basically I want to get up to the next rank up as quickly as I can, because that's going to be fun. That's the main thing with this stream. I want to get up to that rank very quickly. There's also a few other things I want to go over, and that's actually based on that is actually how leveling works. I mean, I'll get to doing that in a second. These are the addendums that we need to go over. So how leveling work is based on your gear that you're using in the game. So as you can see, I'm 1798, but a few of my weapons are full 1800 already. So 1800, 1800, that one's slightly under, that one's under as well, that one's over, that one's under. So what happens is your gear score, or your power, whatever you want to call it, your actual main gear is entirely based on the average of whatever you are. It's not the max, it's the average. So I can say, hey, what's this? That's under, so that wouldn't matter anyway. But if I had something that was massively over, that can pull everything up, which can then help you balance out the other stuff that isn't quite powerful yet, but of course it's random drops, so you don't necessarily always know what you're going to get. So that's generally how leveling works. From when you start the game, you'll be at 1600 power up to 1750. That's where that's what's called the soft cap. That's where because up to that point, everything you do, every drop you get will be more powerful. So you're guaranteed to constantly getting more and more powerful as you play the game. Which means that you can try and experiment a bit, try a little bit of everything. No matter what you do, the next stuff that drops is going to be more powerful. So that's always going to happen. Now, once you get past that, you start to want to retreat from the soft cap to the hard cap, which is at 1800. Now, the hard cap is, to get up from the soft cap to the hard cap, you need to do activities that reward either powerful engrams, pinnacle engrams, or pinnacle engrams, basically, or prime engrams. Those are the 3 things you need to go for. Now, if we go back to the map here, you'll see that a lot of these have different stars on them. Those are places I can still get drops from. Obviously, Crucible, not so much, because I've been playing a lot of Iron Banner. This, as you can see with that number, I've been playing a lot of Iron Banner. Competitive, not so much, obviously. But yeah, Iron Banner, I've been playing loads of. I've been playing loads of Iron Banner to get up in rank. But we're not going to play that today. That's for a future video, which you'll see eventually. Fun fact, if I kept playing Iron Banner, I would have already ranked up in probably the next 1 or 2 games. And that would have been, I'd hit the little cap. So I deliberately held off for this stream. You're welcome. So each one of these icons you see is the place where you can get something. So if I go to the tower here, you can see that's glowing because I've got something to bring in there. But all these little blue things is like, hey, if you do these things, you'll get powerful gear. So in that case, I'll get tier 1 powerful gear, which is roughly around about +2, I think. Or, yeah, I think all of them here are, yeah, these are all just powerful. These are all just powerfuls. So, yeah. So there's that. Some of all those are powerful. If I go, let's say I go to Neptune, and if I was to do this, that leaves a pinnacle reward, which is usually a +2. But the reason why they're different is because once powerful, pinnacle, all that works up until you get to the hard cap. Past the hard cap, you then get into the pinnacle cap, which is 1810. When you get to 1810, the only way you're going to level up then is by doing pinnacles. And pinnacles, again, are only +2 every time. So it's going to take some time for you to actually get up there. But that's what you then want to focus on. We're doing pinnacles. I mean, pinnacles still work right now, but the general rule of thumb is once you get past the hard cap, you want to do powerfuls first, then pinnacles. Entirely just because it tends to be that powerfuls will reward higher and pinnacles reward a little bit lower. So you want to maximize the powerfuls you're getting first, then the pinnacles. It's usually how this stuff works. So, on talking about that as well, again, I have notes. I always have notes just so I remember things. thing I didn't know about when we made the video is that yeah, the power cap isn't increasing next season. So normally every season, as I said in the video, the power cap will go up by 10. So the power cap for the pinnacles right now, the highest power you can get minus like the artifact, not including the artifact here for a second, is 1810. Normally next season, the highest it would go would be 1820. But that's not happening now. Instead, now they're focusing more on how to make the content more challenging, so that you have to be more skilled at the game rather than necessarily more powerful. It means that at a certain point, you're not just going to steamroll everything. Now, as for what they do after the next season, we don't know. They're probably going to use this season to sort of gauge how that's gone, or if they're going to increase it again, maybe by 10. It's already been stipulated that they don't want to do it in massive increments because no one liked that. So, again, the game is more focused on rewarding your time here rather than anything else. The other thing I wanted to say is with the Guardian ranks, if I go back to that a second, the Guardian ranks here, these reset back to 6 every season. So, as you can see, once you hit Guardian rank 6, you unlock titles. But then after that, all, as it says there, this is an advanced rank. Advanced ranks show mastery of new mechanics. They reset every season. Now, whether that will stay the same or not, we don't know. But regardless, yes, that is going to how things are going to be. Let's go back to the map for a second. So, yeah, that's the main thing. The cap's not increasing, which means the grind you do now is going to serve you well next time. And instead, it means that probably the main grind you're going to have for next year, well, not next year, next season, will be the season pass. As you can see, I'm nearly at rank 60 already. Now, I did a little bit of prepping before, but not loads. I only did prepping on 1 character. Ideally, I should have done it on 3, and I've been way past this by now. But as you can see, I've bought the season pass. I bought the Lux edition just so I could get everything. But as you can see, I'm working my way through it quite nicely. And these are all the rewards and stuff you get. And even if you're not going to buy it, if you buy it, you get access to the exotic early. If you haven't bought it, when you get to rank 35, you get the exotic anyway. So that's always good. But yeah, I feel like for your seasonal grind, this is more so going to be the main thing now. Of course, we'll see how things go. So we'll see how this ages, but we'll see. So the next thing I want to talk about very quickly is a very fun thing called transmogrification. And for this, we need to go to the tower. So let's go to the tower. Yeah, transmog is a very, very, very fun thing. Again, a lot of things I'm talking about now very quickly at the start of this stream is stuff that either there wasn't a good place to put it in the video, or it flat out wasn't in like the layout for the video, because it was when I say scripted, it was very roughly scripted in that we had certain things we wanted to talk about, so we talked about those, or rather I talked about those, and yeah. So here we are. We are now at the tower. Iron Banner is going good. As you can see, I've been getting quite a lot of ranks and stuff in this, but that's not what we're here for. We can talk about Iron Banner in the video. Be sure to subscribe for when that video comes out. It'll be in a while. It'll be next season. So here's the other thing I was saying about with engrams. This is a prime engram. Now, what a prime engram does is they drop roughly every 200 kills of red bar enemies. Now, there are different types of enemies you'll find in the game. There are red bars, they are orange bars, and yellow bars. Roughly speaking, red bars are worth basically 1 kill. A orange bar, I believe, is worth something like 5 kills. And an orange bar, or like a mini boss, or bosses or whatever, are worth something like 20 kills. So for if you're only killing bosses, every 10 bosses, you're going to get a prime engram. Now, the thing about a prime engram is when you're doing from the powerful to from the soft cap to the hard cap, these are very useful because these can be a good way to get increasing power. As you can see, this is 1801. Now, I don't know what I'm going to get out of this, but it's going to, whatever comes out of this is going to be 1801. Now, once you get from the hard cap to pinnacle, and you're getting up to that pinnacle rank of power, these become slightly less useful. These will not go above whatever your current cap is, or whatever current gear score you're at, but these can be useful for like filling in gaps of power. Again, pinnacles are what you want there. That's the massive hardy grind. So let's see what we're going to get here. And I got an NG weapon. Not particularly useful, considering the NG weapon is quite high already, but I don't really use that fusion rifle, and I don't know if it's a good roll of it either. I know that that's not good, so, but everything else is kind of already a higher power than that. Because that's the thing, you get modules that you can use to upgrade everything, so it becomes a balancing game. That's 1801. I could put that into something else, or I could put that into that to try and hit the cap sooner, but I'd have a better bet focusing on trying to get something else higher, like either my helmet, which technically I do have a helmet which is already 1800, so if I swap to that, you can see it's not done much anything there. So I know that that's just one thing going up isn't going to do it. I have to get on all my armor up probably, but regardless, I need to get that up in here anyway. So I can actually go for the shotgun and I can upgrade it. We'll put that to 1801. That plus that helmet, still not enough. So this is what I mean by it's always the average. You're going by the average all the time. That's what you got to deal with here. Go away, malware bytes. It's useful, but go away. So yeah, that's prime engrams, that's all that. This is my current build. I'll get into builds in a second. But the main thing I wanted to show off, which they finally added to Destiny, which I didn't really get to show off in the video because there wasn't a good place to put it, as I was saying, is transmogrification. So very simply, to give you an idea of what that is, before in Destiny, if you wanted to have a certain look, you would have to use certain armor. And that armor was tied to how you looked. Now that's not the case. You can instead completely change how your armor looks. The only thing that can't really be changed is exotics. Exotics have their own skins that they can have, and the idea for that is that if you encounter people, you know exactly what they're using. You can see what they're using. You can, if you recognize it, you immediately know, sort of thing. So yeah, so this is Ada. Ada is the person who does all the transmogrification. As you can see, she also sells armor and stuff as well, like older armor if you don't have it. So if you're missing any armor, you can come back and pick it up. Same with shaders. She'll come here and she will sell old shaders for glimmer. I'm very low on glimmer, apparently. Did not know. But what you can do is you can come here and you can pick up a bounty. What this bounty will do is give you 100 synth strand or synth weave, synth cord, that's it. And then when you come here and deposit it, and that will give you a, what is it called? We will find out very quickly. Synth weave. It'll give you a synth weave to use on your character. As you can see, I'm currently out. But what you can then do is, let's say I want to change what my chest armor looks like. So if I take this off, that's what my chest armor normally looks like. It's actually from Season of the Worthy, and I got really high stat armor apparel. But what I can do is I can choose any of these pieces of armor, and if I have if I had a synth weave, I could say, hey, I like that. I want to have that as what my armor looks like. And then you unlock it. Now, as you can see, I've already got some unlocked. I don't have loads. I don't have everything unlocked. I've gone by what I like. So I've got like the latest Iron Banner stuff. I've got stuff from previous seasons. These are all ornaments and stuff you can apply on top of your armor. And so it means I can do that. I can use Witch Queen stuff. I can have glowy stuff. There's loads of different things you can make use of here. Or what Alex was wearing, he was wearing this. Or I can wear the newer version of the Solstice armor. Or I can wear something else. I can wear Trials of Osiris armor. I can wear all sorts. This is all stuff you can do in the game now. Your look isn't no longer tied to what you're using per se. You can actually fully choose how you look. It's like if I'm using Void, this is a Void-based element. There's an Arc-based element where it has little arc bolts that go across every now and then. This one was from Christmas. There's loads of stuff, and you can. This is like from the 30th anniversary. This is what I wear with this. And then you apply it and it's saved. You can then apply any of the shaders to it, anything like that. And you can see everything all at once. You can see what I'm using, what I'm covering everything with, and you can see everything. So this is really, really handy. Now, don't get me wrong, there are issues. There are definite issues, and that is the main issue is monetization, as it usually is. So the main issue is that you can only unlock 10 per season. You can only unlock 10 pieces of armor per season. And basically, if I go back to Ada, you can see how many I've already unlocked this season. So if I go and hover over this, I've already unlocked 6. I've already done 6 bounties to unlock, and there's only 10. Now, if you want to go past that, you have to buy more. Which is like, come on, really? We've been asking for this for ages, and then you put an artificial limiter on it. Which sucks, but it's kind of better than nothing, at the very least. At the very least, it's better than nothing. It still sucks, though. It still massively sucks, though. But yeah. Did I mention this is my favorite game? But there's stuff in it that absolutely sucks. So that's that. Let's move on to the next thing. I'm just going to get somewhere nice. There's a nice place I can make my character stand while I actually, it technically doesn't matter, but I like, there's nice places in the tower. The tower looks really nice, even though, again, if you're actually a D1 vet like myself, this isn't the tower. This is like this. This is just like a nice little nook where we can stand, like so. And you can see my character looking all nice. Yeah, this is my character. So let's actually get rid of that. So next thing I want to talk about is exotics. We didn't really had a way to talk about exotics in the video. So the way gear works in this, you have different rarities. So you go for, this is all legendary gear. You have uncommon. You have common, which is surprisingly the hardest ones to find. But actually, if I go to collections, I can show you. No, not there. Weapons. So if I go here, I can show you exactly what I mean. So you have common weapons here, which are the ones you get when you start the game. Then you have uncommons. Arguably, I would argue that these are some of the more hardest ones to get now because they don't drop, like, at all. Then you have blues, which are commons. There's not loads of them, but they're a way for you to get started. They're obviously better than the uncommons, but they're not great. Then you get the legendaries. These are the main things you're going to go for. Obviously, a lot of these are, unfortunately, sunsets. You can tell whatever sunset by the white thing on it. But everything that doesn't have that is fine, you use. And a lot of it is random rolls, so yeah. The legendaries are the main things you're going to be getting. Those are the more powerful stuff in the game. They're going to have random rolls. They're going to have different stats. They're going to ones we want to go for. Now, exotics are a level above that, and there's only so many exotics. These are all the exotics quite a lot of these exotics. Obviously, I've not got Wish Ender, I've not got Malfeasance, I don't have Touch of Malice, and I don't have Conducive Finality. Those are all ones I don't have in primary. Then there's Energy, and then there's Power. You can see that there are ones I don't have, because I haven't done the raids, so raid exotics I don't have. These ones I don't have because those are class specific, and I just haven't done that yet. Dead Messenger, I just need to buy, then I can get that. And then you go to power weapons. A lot of these, that's done through a quest. I haven't got that. Those 3 are raid exotics. That's a dungeon exotic, raid exotic. So yeah, some ones I don't have. Everything that I can get easily, I've got. But yes, going back to exotics. Exotics, you can only wear one. You can only have one exotic weapon and one piece of exotic armor. And they have special abilities. And depending on what they do, will depend on how you use. Certain ones are better than others, depending on what you're doing. I have my favorites that I like to use quite regularly. That I have usually on my character at all times. Same with here. I have exotic helmets I like. I have exotic arms I like. And I tie them into different builds. And basically, you want to find stuff that works well to how you want to play. And that's how you start a build going. And as I alluded to in the video, there's a lot of build crafting you can do now. So this is what my current build is using right now. I'll talk about it in a bit. But And then you might also want to save whatever your build is, and that's where you can save stuff on the side here, and you can save whatever build you're using. So let's get started. So for now, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to walk you through my builds, and these are some interesting builds that I have gone together, including a strand build that no one else is talking about and no one's using, to the point of I wonder why no one's using it, because it's really, really effective and it really, really works. So to show you what I mean, we're going to head over to Neomuna, because that's kind of the best place to show off how this works. And to do it, we're going to do an overload activity, or we're at least going to load in through the overload activity, see what's there. If there's an overload going on, we'll join in. If there's not, we'll do something else. Yeah. It's really weird. No one ever talks about this build. No, literally no one. No one talks about it, because to give you an idea of what the build is very quickly. So I'm using Strand. This is also the strengths of Glass right now. Fragments I'm using Thread of Finality, where finisher blows create threadlings, which is just, you know, for fun. Defeating suspend targets grants class ability energy. Again, I could get rid of that because I don't suspend. Overpower grants woven mail. And this is the main thing. Dealing damage generates grenade energy, and picking up a overpower grants woven mail. In fact, some of these I can change very quickly. In fact, I'll quickly show you how the build works, and then I can show you how we augment it using fragments. And this works in all builds. So here we are. We are now in Neomuna. So, very fun, Neomuna, futuristic city, kind of like Cyberpunk, but Destiny. We're not going to do the activity because no one's doing it right now. I'm surprised enough there's not that many enemies nearby, which is surprising. But obviously the main thing I've got right now is the grapple, which means I can just fling myself through the air. I kind of missed the grapple point, which means my grapple has depleted, which is not fun. There's no enemies here. This is really surprising. Like, none. Whatsoever. There's just no enemies. But there is a big party of people over there, so there's a good chance that this is really weird. There's no enemies. Come on, someone shoot at me. Come on. Okay, someone started this now. Okay, we're going to get enemies coming in now. There we go. So, the exotic weapon I'm using is Monte Carlo. The way Monte Carlo works is that for every hit, you're going to get grenade. You're not grenade. You're going to get melee energy. And I've gotten the build currently set up in my mods so that melee kills give me grenade energy, and not only that, as you saw before, doing any sort of damage also gives me grenade energy. So basically, I'm constantly getting grenade energy. So that's how the gun works into this. Now, the actual helmet I'm using is Fellwinter's Helm. And what that does is that on melee, charged melee firing bows, if I get a kill, like with that, you can see that everyone else around it gets weakened. Which means they're easier to kill, and they're blinded. So it makes it very easy. Now, the way that this build works really well is that I've got grapple. So if I go like this, and then slam, that counts as a melee, despite the fact it's a supercharged, technically kind of grenade. So because it's using melee damage, I'm getting the grenade back, and yeah, I'm getting the grenade back, which means I can do it more often. And you can see with that one hit, I then immediately got half of it back. I can then do any damage to get grenade energy back again. And then if I don't manage to get the grenade energy back from using the melee and doing damage itself anyway, I've just got loads of options to generate it back all the time. And again, no one's talking about this build, and it's really fun. See, I do that, I get damage, any sort of damage I do. It's filling up the grenades, it's filling up my melee. Use the melee, I can stun an area. It also works if I do that. That also will get stuff going. That also spawns threadlings, which is quite nice. I do that. it just constantly goes with a nice flow. It works really well. Survivability isn't great. I can adjust some of my mods to do that. For example, I'm not using suspend at all in this. At no point in this do I do any suspending. I'm not got anything set up for that. But I can use threadlings. They generate damage for me as well, which gets my suspend back. Everything I do just builds everything else back up. And that's the whole idea with this. So I can go like that. Go like that. Boom. I've got my super back now. Do damage. Got that back. The idea is just, it's ability spam. Just constantly ability spam. So yeah, it's just great fun. Constant fun all the time. I'm constantly making enemies weaker around me. It's fun. It's not maybe the highest DPS out there, but it's fun and it has a certain flowiness to it. So, what I'm going to do now is move myself away a bit. And I'm going to show you what I mean by the actual fragments you can make use of. So, if I go in here, there's aspects. You only have 2 for this right now, so we're kind of stuck on that. But then we have fragments. So I said here that final blows create threadlings. Again, that's useful actually getting the damage up. Pick no power against woven mail. That just makes me a little bit more powerful. But as you can see, we have all these different fragments. So defeating with a tangle grants mail energy. That may be useful, but on the same time, I've got my gun for that. So that's kind of a waste for me. Activating a grenade ability restores your equipped weapon and grants bonus airborne effectiveness for a short duration. Potentially also useful. That's one I've already got in. So that's not needed, and that's not needed. Again, we're not dealing with suspend, so not real points. Strength weapon, final blows, I've chance to create a threadling. Potentially useful. While you're with them, as final blows, create a tangle. That would be useful. Powered melee, final grows, grant your strand weapons unraveling rounds. Again, potentially useful. That I'd say would probably be the most useful currently. Just because threadling's doing more damage. Also always good. Let's see. Dealing damage, I've already got that applied. And the last one here. Yeah, there's no point with any of that. So if anything, I'd probably say the one I'd add that would be that, just to make that more useful. So now that I've altered my build, I can just click it here, click F to override, and now every time I bring up that build again, it's going to remember what I've set it to. Now, the thing, because I've changed it, it does reset everything. But here you can see the natural regeneration of everything. So now I start doing damage, and everything just starts getting up in power again. Again, my gun itself is feeding into my melee, so I don't need to worry about that, because as long as I'm getting kills, or I'm doing even just any damage, if I can get kills, it'll do it faster. But if I'm just doing any damage, I'm going to be funding back into my melee. Which means I'm going to be doing more strand stuff, and more strand stuff means that my melees are going to feed back into the grenade. And doing any sort of damage also feeds into the grenade, like so. So I can do that. I can hit him. As you can see, I've applied a debuff because it counts as a hit. And again, no one's talking about this. It's really, really good and really handy. So yeah, there's a strand bolt there that I've made. I could do it so I'm making more of those. But now I can come here and I can pick up a weapon. May I pick up a weapon? I picked up a helmet. Is the helmet any good? Let's find out. No, the helmet's bad, so I can dismantle it. I can get rid of it. And I've accidentally clicked the wrong thing there. So yeah, that's a build. That's a fun build right there that I very much like. So currently they're all working towards the next thing, which means in the meantime I'll show off my next build. Now this one, if you watched the world's first raid race, you'll have seen quite a bit. This is the broken build right now. This is the solar build, and as you can see, each build will also save whatever you've got as transmog, so you can fully save everything. You can make yourself look completely different on every build. So spoilers, if I go to my arc build here, again, looks very different things lined up. And if I go to my void build, again, looks very different, but we'll get to that in a second. For now, this is my build here. So as you can see, everything's at 0 now because I've been swapping between things. Whenever you swap between stuff, you're going to lose, well, ammo and everything, but we'll get that back fairly quickly. So this build, if you've seen it in the world's first raid race, this was used. This is a very powerful build this season. So get kills with a literally any sort of solo weapon. Just get solo weapon kills, which is going to be a little bit difficult here because I'm going up against very strong stuff there, and I'm dead. The thing is, because I swapped to a build, I need to like get the build going, and right now I don't have anything started, so I can't. So I'm just going to avoid that, and I'm just going to start getting these kills instead, which are easier, so I can start getting everything going. Like so. So, what I do now is I set down a rift. Put down a rift, that gets that going. Basically, the idea is be constantly doing damage. It doesn't have to be high damage, but it just has to be damage. Get damage going, set down another rift, just repeat. Keep going, keep going. Keep doing damage. If I get this reloaded, this is Witherhoard. And what Witherhoard does is tick damage. It does damage over time. So you can set up an area where if anything stands into it, it just does damage. So not really handy here, because we're dealing with flying Vex Harpies. But what I can do is I can do damage, and that's going to feed into just everything. So I've got a well now. What I can do is I can go into the center here, pop down my well, and anyone who stands in here is now going to get extra damage and healing. And that also activates my rift, which means that now I can do damage. I put down that. That's just an area of constant damage now. I stand in here. I have got a damage buff. I do damage. I'm going to get my grenades. I'm going to get everything back. I can put down more rifts. I can... Well, grenades right now are useless because they're in the air unless I happen to hit. Like that I did there. It's just basically just do constant damage over and over again. Okay, so we've got that done now. Mansel's are going to spawn in. I can just lay down an area where it's like, hey, if you jump in there, you're going to get damaged. If I can hit one of them as well, it'll attach to it and do damage. Put down the rift. Do melee. Do that. These have been suspended. And there is just do constant damage, more and more damage. Keep doing it, and you just keep fueling it. You never die, because the idea is that you're just fueling the rift. You're doing everything you can. You're staying alive. There's a boss there. Let's hit him for damage. And I missed, bounced off the wall. Doesn't matter. If I just lay down area at his feet, I don't have to hit him directly. If he walks anywhere in, he's doing damage. I'm getting my abilities back. That's the idea here. I don't have anything for that. Throw grenade at him, do damage. As you can see, down real easy, real fast. Just stupidly fast. We're just doing damage here. Pop down that rift. As you can see, I get some grenade energy back. I do damage. I'm gonna get everything back real fast. Again, doesn't even have to be high damage. I just have to be constantly dealing damage. It's constantly dealing some sort of damage. Any numbers, just numbers have to be popping up. Numbers pop up, I'm getting my abilities back. And again, because of the exotics I'm using, which is the Heart of Praxic Fire, is it? I can't remember what the exotic armor I'm using is called. I think it's called Heart of Praxic Fire, or something like that. Basically means just constantly do damage, constantly get everything up. As you can see, engram dropped. And an arm piece. Probably don't need an arm piece, but we'll see. Could be something useful. Could be something good. So I've got that. I pop that down. There's one more sign to defeat which no one's defeating. So I pop that down. It's doing damage over time, and it's dead. I've got my grenade back. I throw that at the tank that's going to spawn. I hit the tank. I've got my super. I can pop that down now. I'm doing extra damage. Because I'm doing damage in this, it means I'm getting my grenades back. And as you can see, because I'm just doing non-stop damage, I'm getting grenades back, I'm getting my rift back, I'm getting my melee back. Just on and on. It constantly just keeps feeding itself. I'm doing damage. I can do tick damage. It's just, that's the idea. Just constantly doing damage, constantly living, constantly just, yeah, output. Just nothing but output all the time. Again, 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 again. So very, you can see why this build was quite broken in the raid. So yeah, tank's dead. Everything's dead. Everything's gone. Done. And, I mean, I know I can pick that up anyway. And here's the other big thing. If you deal damage, you get fire sprites. These fire sprites, you pick them up. Do any sort of solar damage, you're going to get fire sprites. Pick those up, you get ability energy back. And they heal you as well. So, yeah. Not quite the same as the Strand build, but still pretty fun. So now, very quickly, I'm going to swap over to my Arc build, which is the next build I want to show off. Now, this build uses Risk Runner, and not necessarily an Arc exotic, but Transversus Steps. What Transversus Steps do is that they make you move faster, and when you run, you can reload automatically. And the whole thing about this build is that basically it is an ad-killing machine that still has the ability to do good damage. So I get Arc ability kills, and the idea is that just you're getting Arc kills all the time. They refund and refuel your ability kills. You're running fast, you're hitting fast, and hopefully you're living well. Because again, you're doing ad clearing for the most part. This area's bread and butter. Put down that, you get a little Arc buddy that helps do even more Arc damage, that fuels your grenades. You're just constantly doing damage, you're moving fast, you're constantly healing. Everything's just keeping you alive. That's the idea with this. So yeah, you run, you get orbs of power. They let you do extra damage. Approved ability regeneration. So I'm constantly just doing damage. That's how this build sort of works. I'm constantly doing Arc damage. I'm constantly refueling everything. Now, as you can see, I switched class, and already I've nearly got my super back already. Because obviously when you switch whatever your ability you're using, so yeah, I'm losing health, so I put down Healing Rift, and I get an ability. I get my Arc buddy who's going to help me do extra damage, extra Arc damage, which then fuels into everything else I'm doing. Because Arc final blows, such as with what I'm using here, just it all builds into each other. That's the whole idea here. Okay, so that's thingy there. I mean, the idea with this is literally just you play fast. You move fast, you play fast, just, yeah. All that fun stuff. It's like, oh, there's a crowd here. Oh, well, actually, no, there wasn't. Let's say there's a crowd here. Arc, that's jolted all of them. Get that down. Get that down. Get that down. Again, constant Arc damage, and boom, super time. Boss is on the next phase already. I'm reviving people, I'm doing damage, I'm getting kills. That's literally all I'm doing. Now, don't be wrong, these are still builds I'm working on. Immediately I'm noticing I'm not getting drops for my Arc kills. I think that's because this is the newest iteration of this build. So not all my mods are fully set up yet, but you can see it still feed into itself quite nicely. I mean, already I'm more than a quarter into getting my super back. Already. I'm getting my super back very, very quickly. It's like, yeah, I just used it, and it's already now nearly at half. So, quick tip you can do here. For leveling stuff up quick. Swap those in. I'm going to loot this. Unloot that. I've ranked up. And now we be gone. So there's a... no, I've hit the pillar. That's not good. So there's a glitch right now. It's not really a glitch. It's how this is defined to work. With the overload activities, you don't even have to be in them. But if you're in the area when one finishes, you can collect the rewards. Now, I guess granted, this is from the free chest. I think if you have the key, it will still work. But you reload the area and then go back, you can get the free rewards again. Now, you'll notice that I swapped my guns out very quickly. And that's because I want to level up my guns, get them leveling up quick. So what I can do is, by unlocking this chest, that counts towards progress of leveling up my guns. And I'll explain about that in just a second. So I then come here, grab it, I get stuff again. I also get more XP. I get more of everything. I leave and I do it again. You can do this 3 times in the window span. I might not be able to get this next one just because I got stuck on the pillar. So this might not work, but this is a trick you can do to try and upgrade this stuff. Now, chances are this is going to get patched, so yeah, use this while you can to upgrade stuff fast, get lots of drops, get lots of glimmer, get lots of experience points. Do this, you can get that stuff fast. It's going to get patched out. It is definitely going to get patched out. So, yeah. Usually by the 3rd time you get here, you'll have just enough time to get it, and then the stuff will disappear. See, things disappeared now. I couldn't do it again. But my stuff's gone up in rank. And I didn't even use it. So now my rocket launcher's at level 17, which is great. And my shotgun is at level 27. So, speaking of Nezarec, let's go to my next build. Actually, no, before I do that. So the reason why these guns have levels, oh, excuse me, is because these are crafted weapons. So we will very quickly go to the area where you craft weapons. Again, this was something we couldn't get in, we couldn't fit into the video, like, at all. But if you go to the throne world, you can then go to the enclave here, launch that up, and this is where you can go to craft weapons. You see, this is all the stuff that we couldn't fit into the video, like, at all. The stream's been going for nearly an hour, and I haven't even got to the whole point of, like, actually getting up in level. This is just me covering what we couldn't get in the video. Just because the video was, I would say, was already quite dense. So to try and fit this in even more, easily looking at a half an hour long video. So yes, Mars is kind of back. It's back-ish in that we've got this little area here. But if we go down here, this is where you can unlock weapon crafting. So yes, weapon crafting is a thing in the game now. So you can either shape or reshape weapons. Let's say I want to shape a weapon. These are all the ones I've got unlocked. So I've got that one unlocked. I don't have any bows unlocked. There's certain things that I don't have unlocked. And the way you unlock these things is by getting rolls of them. And you'll see red borders around them. If you get a weapon that drops with a red border, what you can do is you can then go into, let's say the machine gun dropped with a red border here. There'll be a little thing here that shows up. You click on it, and then you gain the pattern of that weapon. And so if you get enough of them to drop, you can then craft your own version of it, which then the more you use it, the more perks you get. So let's say with this one, I have these perks on it now. It's at level 17. I've defeated 163 things with it. So let's say I go back to my arc build. Now I don't have any of that stuff on me. So now let's say I want to reshape it. I go to reshape, I go to power weapons, I go to rocket launchers. There's my weapon. I click reshape, and basically I can change what kind of weapon it is. I can, so basically, right now it's just a regular adaptive frame. Now I can choose, hey, I want this to be differently boosted. This weapon will gain additional minor stat boost at level 20. It's currently level 17, which means that when it gets to a certain level, it's going to get a bit more of a boost. So I can change any of that. I can then change any of my perks because I've unlocked them all now. And you can fully customize however you want. And even then, you've got like enhanced perks you can make use of. And again, these are all things that cost, but these are all things you can make use of. So you can, let's say I really like Golden Tricorn, I could then put on the better version of it, which I've unlocked through using the gun. And then there's memento slots. Mementos are stuff that you get for playing high-level activities. And then it means that rather than look for a certain role of this gun, I've instead made the role I want, and I can adapt the role depending on what's good per season. It means that you can keep a certain gun with you to carry through with you throughout the entire game. And again, sunsetting is no longer a thing. So basically, if you've got a certain, like this is an adaptive frame rocket launcher. So in the future, there may be an aggressive frame rocket launcher. So it could be that this is my adaptive frame rocket launcher. When adaptive frames are good, this is the one I'll always go back and use. If aggressive ones become good, I'll use an aggressive one, and you can tailor it based on that. Now, not every gun can be crafted, but pretty much more get added every season. So then you can hone down and craft what you like, which is always nice. And again, that goes back into your builds, because then you can fully custom spec out your build to have exactly what you want and then save it. And then you can adapt the build as you go. So yeah, it really is full crafting, build whatever you want as you go, which is very nice. Again, the game is respecting your time. That's the big change now. The game respects your time, which is very, very nice. But anyway, we're not going to do any of that, because basically whenever you're looking into crafting, you want to kind of know what's good right now. And I don't know what's good for an adaptive frame rocket launcher right now. But I do know is always fun is cosplay. It's a weird segue. Stick with me, all right? So, the latest raid had you fighting someone called Nezarec, who is known as the final god of pain. And he has been alluded to for so long in the game. He's been around he's been alluded to since Destiny 1. Vanilla Destiny 1 with the exotic Nezarec Sin. Because that helmet was apparently based on how his head looked. And now we've beaten him in the game. We know what he looks like. So I present to you my Void build based on Nezarec. Look at this. Now, there's a few things I changed. I wanted to make use of the newer ornaments, because I thought they looked really, really cool. But then plus with all the skin tight thing to really sort of emphasize what his body looks like. And it's just, yeah, it's great. Now, as you can see, I'm not actually massively highly powered, because just, yeah, as you can see, that dropped to be a bit higher, so I can put that in. So now that's a bit higher. I'm going up in power. How about here? Do we have something better here? Let's find out. Do we have something better I can use? Ooh, yeah, we have something at 99, and it's a blue, so we want rid of it anyway. Boom, that's higher now. As you can see, I'm getting closer and closer. The thing that's probably behind is the weapons. The weapons are probably the thing that's holding me back most right now. Because yeah, both of those gloves, not great. We can get rid of both of them. Helmet wise, ooh, that's a 99. We'll stick that on as well. But yeah, the blue we can get rid of. The blue we don't want. We don't want blue. Weapon wise, that's at a 90, so that could definitely do with getting up. Same with that. That's at a 97. So not much we can really do with that. And that's at 95. Ooh, but I have another rocket launcher there that I can thing up for 97. And I already have a quite nice roll. And I'm out of powers, so I can't actually get that higher right now. But yeah, this is my build right now. Let's go to here. Let's go to the throne world to show off this build. So this build uses Nezarec Sin, and because we're loading in, I'll go into it a little bit. Nezarec Sin, what this does is that void damage increases ability, energy, regen. So basically get any sort of void kill at all, and you're going to get better and better. Your ability is going to come back even better, which means you can get even more void kills even faster. And naturally, I'm using Void, and my exotic for this is the Graviton Lance, which creates on precision damage. Where is it? Cosmology. Kills a weapon, causes enemy targets to detonate and spawn void projectiles that track targets. So this is why I decided this to be the Nezarec's build, because the build is pain for the enemy. It's pure pain. It's just pure pain. Which I will show you. So obviously I've got everything there. I go pop, explode, pop, explode, kills the other one. Ability regen is better. And naturally, void kills generate orbs of power. So again, void, it just, and even then I've got it so that increases ability regen as well. So pop, does damage, pop, does damage. Void shield, pop, does damage. It's just pain for everyone else. And again, any void. So my super, that does it as well. My grenades, that does it as well. Everything does it. I pop down my rift, I get a little void orb here that...
You're about to be up to your ghost and scorn. And those ugly little ghouls gotta carve through you before they bug me.
So yeah, I've got my void soul here. I find an enemy, it will lash them, do damage, and make them weaker, which means easier void kills. And if it kills them, it counts as a void kill. As you can see, this is a really annoying thing. So unfortunately, I missed it there. But yeah, we're just constantly doing void damage. As you can see, I'm killing very, very quickly. And if I really want to, get out my rocket launcher. Dead. Void kills just fuel this build. And pop. Doing extra kills. Getting everything back. I put that down. It attaches to him. It does damage. It counts as void kills. I get all my stuff back. It is that easy. It is literally that easy. The fun builds you can have in this game are amazing. So again, I put that down. I don't have that, so instead, what I'll do, throw that. It does damage. Boom. Done. More void damage. I get my abilities back faster. You can tell it's activated whenever I get abyssal extractors. Do that. Yeah, whenever I'm getting abyssal extractors down in the side there, I'm getting everything coming back quicker. Put down my rift, because I've got my rift come back very fast. That attaches. That's a void damage. It's all void damage from here. And now if I'm standing there, I'm getting healing, which helps everyone out. Getting low health is fine. I throw my grenade. That's void damage. The build just feeds into itself. That's the whole idea with this. And again, the good thing is that, that with Graviton Lance, it plays really nice. You don't even have to really aim. I've joined the heroic event. It plays really nice and easy. And technically the gun has infinite range because this is a 2-burst pulse rifle, but the second bullet has infinite range and no damage drop off. So do that against the boss. It all feeds in to my abilities. Everything just feeds in. So we're getting orbs of power, we're doing damage, we're doing good. There we go. Easy as. And that's another thing done. And I got a weapon. Always nice. Is anything any good? Oh no, it's been sent to the postmaster. Well anyway, that I can get rid of because I know I don't want that. And I got an enhancement core, which is always useful. So that's always fun. Yeah, this is my void build. Now there's another build I have here which isn't going to work quite so well here, and that's my PvP build. This is good for when I'm going against people. I can see this is my strongest build by far. This is without my strongest build, and I could make it a little bit stronger right there. That not so much. But yeah, this is my strongest build. This has all my strongest gear on it right now because, hey, you're going to want it to be strong. You're doing PvP. So what this does is basically it's a headshot king. Now, this doesn't feed into abilities. For me, the build in PvE, the abilities are very much more of an accent. You can't really bank on being overwhelmed with enemies, so you've got free kills and orbs and stuff. You can't bank on that in PvP because if you're doing Trials of Osiris, you're only going against 3 other people, and at most on the opposite team you're going against 6. So you're not going to get overwhelmed. You can't like spam abilities and be guaranteed kills. Not how it works. So the idea is it's good gunplay, easy headshots because I'm using Dead Man's Dead Man's Tail, which is amazing in PvP. And then for utility-wise, for the exotic, I'm using transversive steps, which as you run, in fact, it even says on it, if I hover over it, let's see. Sprinting is increased after sprinting for a short time. Your currently equipped weapon is automatically reloaded. Now, another really good exotic for PvP is the Ophidian Aspects, where weapon ready and reload is massively increased, melee range is expected, and it provides a small benefit to airborne effectiveness on all weapons. Now, that's also really, really good. But once you get used to just being able to, especially with a gun like this, where if I fire and then if I fire twice and reload manually, in fact, no, I'll fire a few. In fact, I'll not sprint and I'll deliberately take out a few, just so I'm using a lot of shots like that. So now I'm down to 5. I click reload. I'm waiting a while to reload everything. It's not instant. Whereas, let's say I'm taking on this guy, a few shots like that. I then run across. Reloads automatically. And especially if in PvP you're making use of the 2-second rule, you're going to be sprinting around quite a lot while you're waiting, while you're getting kills. Because if you're in an engagement and you have to reload, you're probably just going to move to cover, or you're going to make use of the 2-second rule and you're going to run somewhere. Usually in that time span, you're probably going to activate the reload, so you're going to be reloaded. Which means that then, let's say I'm making use of the 2-second rule here. So enemy there, kill. He's putting pressure on me, so I'm going to run. Reposition. Get somewhere, it's prep already. Kill. I'm getting rushed, so I'm going to run. Reposition somewhere. Get to a good vantage point, and then I can strike back. That's generally how this build tool works. Now, there is one more build. As you can see, I'm using Strand because it's very fun. And with this, I'm using Threadling Grenades because Threadlings are very, very fun. They're just an extra way to create damage. I can pause the Threadling like that. That's going to send them out. Got Threadling Grenade, which just sends out, again, more Threadlings that will go out and seek targets and seek enemies for me. And right now, as you can see, I've got full Threadlings, so... Which means that next time when I put down my Rift, which again, something you're going to probably end up doing quite regularly. See? Threadling's gone out. Hunting an enemy for me. Gone again. And it comes back. It just helps me do a little bit extra damage. In PvP, it's like an extra gun. You've basically got an extra gun. And that's the really useful part for this. So last build I want to quickly show off before we probably get into the meat of me trying to get up into power is this one, which I've named Alpha. Now, this is an old build. I'm still working on it. I'm trying to get it to work. And this goes back to the idea of basically getting a melee kill with Sunbracers means you get infinite grenades. And then using the Monte Carlo to constantly get back a lot of the melee energy. So, like that, I've now got my melee energy, which is exactly what I want. So, let's say I go up to you, activate that, I get infinite grenades for a while, and those grenades then feed back my melee, which means then I can get more again, and I can keep this going. Now, I'm experimenting with this because there is a build you can use on this, which I'm using right now, where... basically, as you jump into the air, what you do is you get a kill going. So let's say with this captain here, I'll get closer, do that, activate Phoenix Dive, get that going, spawn grenades, and as you can see, I've got Radiant going, I've got Cure going. I can then activate it again. The idea with them would be I'd activate Heat Rises by consuming a grenade. And that would help me just keep alive. I'd keep going, basically. So use Monte Carlo until I get the melee energy. Which again, using Monte Carlo can be a bit of a pain, so I do that. I can then consume my first grenade. And then I've got other grenades I can throw out. As you can see, I've got radiant, I've got heat rises, which helps me stay alive. And if I get kills with that, I can then use that. I get restoration. That will then extend heat rises a bit more. And then the idea is you can build that out a bit more. But the problem is using the Phoenix dive to get radiance and to cure myself is not something I'm used to. So it's a little bit more difficult for me. It's definitely something I'm building and getting used to. So yeah, I consume that. The idea is that then I can get the melee kill, but the thing is I haven't found a way to guarantee that I definitely get the melee energy, because I need that in order for this to work. So I do that, I get heat rises, I get restoration, and that means that I can effectively live easier. Throw grenades, get the kill, that extends it. And the idea is that you just keep that going. And the idea is meant to be that you keep it going. But this is definitely a build I'm experimenting with, trying to get it to play nice. The problem I have with it is that you're forced to constantly be having to use the Phoenix dive. And I'm not used to that build style. So the idea is, ideally, I'm going to mess around with it more so that it really works better towards just, hey, you're just going to be doing lots of damage. So I do that. I do that, I throw that. Ideally, this is the build kind of like at its best, because as you can see, I've got heat rises. You don't have to be on the floor to keep heat rises going, but as you can see, I've got restoration. The idea is that you can use like solar kills and that to get things going further, even more. And the idea is that you just extend heat rises, you keep it going. So when it works really, really well. As you can see, I've got radiance, where the idea is that that helps me just live, keep going. I can apply stacks of torches. I just keep that going. And the more I keep that going... See, when it works really well. So then it becomes a case of Monte Carlos just to get this started. I can then throw down loads of grenades and I can just keep this going and I'm going to be living all the time. I can use that to get an immediate cure going. I can then use my well. That's not meant to be a well. But you can... The build has potential. It's just... Once you get it going, it goes well. It's just getting it going is the difficult part. And so yeah, I missed the ability to get there, so now I've slowed myself back down again. Again, it's a one that I'm working on. I've got really high damage solar boost, and again, I've got a really good roll for this gun, which means it does great amounts of extra damage. And heat rises, I can just keep going. I'm going to get lots of solar kills. That's just going to feed into my melee energy, and if it's not going fast enough, I can make use of that. Build that in, consume the grenade again, throw down, get more kills. It's generally how this build works. And in the air, I can do a quick reload. I mean, when the build works, it works really well. It's just if you ever get to the point where you've run out of enemies, that's when it falls apart, because then you've got to build everything back up again. So, but hey, it's a build. It works. Let's respect the Strand, because the Strand one's very, very fun. So, now, let's actually get into the meat of this, which is going to be, you know, actually getting myself up in power. So we're going to do Vanguard Ops. And the burn for this week is Strand. Perfect. We're going to do Vanguard Ops and we're going to do Strand. I just have to do 3 of these and I'm going to get more power, which is very, very nice. I'm going to double check other stuff I had noted down. That's like the first half of everything I had noted down for this stream. Oh yeah, so a big thing I didn't really manage to actually get to talk about in the video. It's actually a part that got cut because it just fell out of place and it was just in the middle of nowhere when I said it. And that's, do I actually recommend playing the game? Yes, it's a free game. Try it. What are you going to lose? You can uninstall it later if you don't like it. It's a completely free game. That being said, you do miss out on a lot by not getting the DLCs. And obviously there's the latest DLC. Do you buy it? And that's a complicated issue because gameplay-wise, the new DLC in its campaign is great. Gameplay-wise, it is very, very, very fun. It is incredibly fun. It is an incredibly fun campaign. Story-wise, it's a little bit lacking. Just a little bit. It's not... The problem is, Witch Queen, story-wise, was incredible. Gameplay-wise was also pretty good. But, yeah. But Witch Queen, as much as the story and the campaign is really, really good, afterwards you don't really have much to do now. Because, obviously, the year of Witch Queen is over. So if you're wanting to level up quickly, you're going to want this. But again, Witch Queen has a lot of very fun things and a lot of very good things as part of it. So, story-wise, it's an amazing story. Amazing campaign. But afterwards, you're not really going to... It doesn't have a new subclass. You're not going to get anything new with it, per se. Whereas with this one, you get Strand. And it's the same with Beyond Light. Beyond Light, the story isn't amazing, but it sets up Aramis, and it sets up the darkness and everything that's going on now. It sets up like your first interaction with using a darkness subclass, and it comes with Strand, which is again a subclass that you only get through the DLC. You don't get to have it any other way. So there's that as well. So it can be quite difficult to recommend which DLCs to get. And again, Shadowkeep. Shadowkeep is probably actually the weakest DLC right now because you don't get any new stuff per se, but you do get access to dungeons, like a pretty good dungeon, which has it has good exotics. The exotic I'm using right now is from Shadowkeep, so if you want it, you have to buy that DLC. And it's like, it's difficult to recommend it. Because on the one hand... Again, it's really, really fun, and it has great reveals, and even now, in retrospective, certain things about that DLC make a lot more sense. It now becomes a case of like, hey, Shadowkeep was actually setting up Nezarec. And that's like... That was years ago, and we didn't know it at the time, but Shadowkeep was setting up Nezarec, and it makes perfect sense right now. Because of Nezarec, that's why there are nightmares. And that's why you go up against nightmares. That was one of the things that Nezarec did. He would torment his victims through nightmares. And that was the way he would inflict pain and madness upon people, is through the nightmares. And it's like... And then later on we found out, hey, that pyramid on the moon... Because, yeah, there's a pyramid on the moon. Spoilers, you can get there. It's the DLC's old now. People know this stuff. Yeah, that was Nezarec's pyramid, because he was a disciple of the Witness, who was the big bad who we're fighting now. And, yeah, that was his pyramid. And now it makes sense. He was the god of pain that invaded nightmares. Of course, his pyramid would inflict nightmares as a defense thing, to haunt people and deter people from going near it. Shadowkeep was set up for Nezarec, and we never knew, because we didn't know Nezarec was going to be a raid boss. So in that regard, lore-wise, it's incredible to look back on now of all the stuff that we kind of missed. And again, Beyond Light sets you up for Strand and Aramis and Clovis and Braytek and all the stuff in that. And obviously Europa, which is a entirely icy planet, which is where we're on right now for this strike. And yeah, it means you get access to these strikes when they're nightfalls and all this other stuff. So it's difficult to know what you can recommend, because you have to go across with balancing out what's good story-wise versus gameplay-wise. Because again, Lightfall gameplay-wise is ridiculous fun. It's incredibly, incredibly fun, but the story-wise is a bit lacking right now, because the main question we always had in the story is, what is the Veil? Which is the big sort of MacGuffin that we're protecting or trying to protect or keep away from the Witness. And again, the fact that that's how I have to describe it is proof that we don't really know what it is. But that is going to be rectified with a mission that's going to be staying. But that's coming next season. So next season, it'll be probably much better. It'll be a better chance to actually buy the DLC. But that's the problem of you're going to be missing out on things now. So it's like, you know, damned if you do, damned if you don't. Generally speaking, I would say Strand is worth it. But at the same time, maybe wait for the DLC to go on sale. It's difficult to recommend it at full price. But at the same time, at full price, you can guarantee yourself the full next year's worth of content without having to worry about it. So, which is what I did. It can be difficult to know what to recommend for people. So, keep this stuff in mind. Here's the thing. The story-wise is going to be good. The story-wise is definitely going to be good. This season alone has been really, really good with what we've been dealing with. It's like it's tied in wonderfully with the mainline DLC. So in that regard, it's good. And next season, Season of the Deep, is going to be good. The writing team for the seasons is genuinely really good and a really good place. They're really strong with the writing, and the gameplay has been good as well. So this is what I mean by it's difficult to know which way to sway, because on the one hand, I'm biased. I love Destiny. But on the other hand, I don't want to recommend people a product they're not going to like. Which is why it's very much a case of, yeah, test out the game. Test out the game. Probably the easiest pack you can go for is the Forsaken pack. Because, yeah, Forsaken stuff got removed from the game. So the pack is discounted. So you're just buying the exotics and stuff. It's very upfront. You're buying the exotics. You're buying the exotics and the exotic armor. That's what you're paying for with it. And you get good exotics with it as well. You get stuff like, I'm trying to think, Last Word, Malfeasance, Thorn, which is even today still like a massive thing in the Crucible, because it's the Guardian killer weapon. The lore of Thorn and Last Word is this massive story that existed all the way from Destiny 1. And it's just like, yeah. There's so much. I mean, like, right now, Strand for Warlock is the highest damage super. And it's behind a paywall, basically. And it's like, if you want that, if you want the grapple to be able to just traverse in like this incredibly new, unique way, you got to buy the DLC. You got to buy a DLC and you got to play it through. It's difficult. It's difficult to know what to recommend. Okay, enough about that. There's actually a theory I have on the Veil. So, there's quite a lot of theories that have been going around about what the Veil actually is. And we've had some lore about various aspects of it. For example, this is getting loud, it's fatiguing on my ears a bit. So, one of the things that's been coming out about the Veil is very much that we don't know much about it, but in Destiny 1, we fought this thing called the Black Heart, which was the heart at the center of the Vex's Black Garden, which is this garden that is home to the Vex that exists outside of space and time. It's like, it's ageless and growing both forward and backward in time and space. It's this weird place. But the Black Heart was like this thing that either the Vex either built and modified based on the Veil to be a copy of the Veil, or was placed there by the Witness. Now, in either case, the way I think of it is this. I have a theory on this, and that is that the Veil was the original heart of the Black Garden, which the Witness then took, because we know that prior to the collapse, when the Witness was going to attack the Traveler, that the Witness had the Veil in its possession, which is why Savathun then took it and then hid it on Neptune. And this is all lore stuff we heard about in Witch Queen. So the thing is, then we get extra dialogue knowing that the Witness came to the Black Garden and left the Black Heart. and then the Vex modified it. Now, I'm assuming... Yeah, now, we know that the Vex modified it to be a copy of the Veil. Which is one of the reasons why one of the exotic quests you do in this is that you can go forth to recover the data and the blueprints of this, of the Black Heart to get its copy, so that then we can understand more about the Veil. Now, why would the Black Heart need to be placed there? And why did the witness go to place the Black Heart there? What did it necessarily gain from it? And again, the Black Heart is meant to be a copy of the Veil. My hypothesis of this is that the Veil was the original heart of the Black Garden. And the reason why the Black Garden was able to flourish in the way it was, because again, we've not heard much about the Black Garden now, at all. But we know it's this massive birthplace of the Vex. The Black Heart itself, or the original heart of the Black Garden, was the Veil. To me, that seems like the most logical thing it can be. The Black Heart, the Veil, was the Black Garden's original heart that then got replaced by the Black Heart that we then fight in Destiny 1, that was placed there by the Witness and then potentially modified by the Vex, which is why we can gather that blueprints to understand more about it, because that was meant to be a replacement. The Witness needed the Black Heart of the original heart of the Garden in order to do whatever it's done to the Traveler, which is obviously it has done now. But the Black Garden still needed a heart, and for whatever reason, that heart of the Black Garden was able to be synchronized to the Traveler, and for whatever reason was causing damage to the Traveler, which is why in Destiny 1, in the main campaign, you travel there to heal the Traveler. That's what you do. You go there to heal it, and destroy the Black Heart so the Traveler can start to heal again, which implies that regardless, whatever becomes the heart of... I got a Hawken Catalyst, nice. Whatever is the heart of the Black Garden gets links to the Traveler. Again, it's very difficult to try and explain this, but when I was watching the video from My Name is Byte, and he was talking about his theory on it, and he was saying about how the Traveler left the original Black Heart, or the Black Heart we fight there, my immediate thought was, well, hang on, what if the way that's how the Witness got the Veil? Because that's not been answered either. How did the Witness first get the Veil? What if the reason he travelled to the Black Garden in the first place was that very reason, to get that so that he could, or I say it could actually do what it's done? The Veil, what if the Veil was the original heart of the Black Garden, which then got replaced, which would explain why it was made in the Black Heart that we fight was an inferior copy, because the original was gone. To me, that makes sense. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's one of those weird things. We will find out for sure what it is next season, but for right now, all we can really do is guess. But that is my guess. That's my guess as to what it is. So, yeah. Well, I will say, I'll stop my loading for that for a second. My talking like that for a while made my voice very dry, so I will be back in a second. I'm going to go get a drink, so I'll be back in a second. I'll leave you with some music. back. Hello. I had to get this in again. Why is Jacket real? He can hurt you. You know, that'll meme. Anyway, yeah, I'm back. I just went and grabbed a drink. Got myself a can of off-brand Coke, which is always fun. I haven't even opened it yet. There we go. So yeah, we'll get back into doing the stuff again. Interesting taste. That's interesting. That's really nice. It's got this like sort of caramelly aftertaste. That's really surprisingly really nice. That's pretty good. That's pretty good actually. I've never noticed that before. That just like immediately caught me off guard. Just massively caught me off guard. Yeah. So the idea now is that we're going to do strikes. Basically, we're going to get up to getting me up to that power level. So let's go. And you know what? For now, I'm going to leave the music going. Because if there's one thing I know about Destiny, only 20%. Wait, what? Oh, higher difficulties grant progress. Right. Okay, so we're going to do a few of these. It's that's not too bad. So you remember I said that if I'd kept playing, I would have already been like up there. Like I would have already got it, and that would have been good for the stream. I want to do this on the stream, you know. You know, I want to be here on stream and properly get it so that, you know, this is a moment that happened on stream. You know, we want fun stuff like that to happen. We want the streams to be fun. But obviously, since I wasn't playing Destiny, I had a bit of extra time. Which actually reminds me, Alex, are you here? Are you here, Alex? Talk to me. Are you here? Speak. Speak, Alex, speak. There's a delay, which means it's going to be a while before he actually talks. I can see how big the delay actually is. But, and that's again assuming he's here. He should be here. He said he was going to be here. Are you here, Alex? You spoke before. Are you here now? Anyway, we're going to be in the strike. So, here we go. This is a remake of the Destiny 1 strike, actually. I mean, luckily there's subtitles, so you can read what they say. Here we go. Still nothing. Are you here, Alex? Basically, there's been things I've been doing over the weekend. You know, I'll skip ahead then. I've got lists. Music like this works really well with Destiny. This is what I mean about with Strand. It's just fun. Look, I can just have this nice flow going. It's like pop, and he's dead. Chain reaction. People, yeah, it's just great fun. It's great fun, great fun, great fun. And pop, pop, pop. So yeah, I'll talk about other stuff I was doing over the weekend instead then. I was actually working on making my... doing a little bit... I've got to do it in order. It's the only way this works. I can't just skip ahead. So, sorry Alex, you don't get a say in this anymore. So, I've started to get back into 3D modeling a bit. So I've said that, he's just going to pop up now and be like, no, shut up! Well, tough, there's a delay, so you don't get a say anymore, Alex. You should have been here! Should have stopped me! Well, it didn't happen, so tough. So yeah, I've been getting into 3D modeling again. Not full-on 3D modeling. I'm still doing my PhD, which means that, building something entirely from scratch isn't something I have the time for. But I am making some fun programs that are allowing me to make 3D models. And to put it safely, the plan is to make use of models for a variety of things, one of which being VR chat. So yes, I have VR chat plans. I have plans for VR chat streams in the future, but those aren't going to happen until these models are complete. And exactly what these models are going to be, you'll see when I get to them. But yes, so I've been testing out and running stuff with that. And again, I say models because, again, I have lots of plans. Even plans that Alex didn't aware of. To the point of the deliberate idea with it is that Alex doesn't know what these plans are. And that's going to add to the surprise. Because he's going to hate them. He's going to hate the surprise. At least that's the idea. Or he's going to love them. And that's a whole other thing. That's a whole other thing if he loves them. But, yeah. Some fun stuff going on. I'm going to be making models. I mean, the obvious ones is that I'm going to make a model of myself. I'm going to make a model of Alex. That's the obvious ones. There are less obvious models I'm also going to be making. But those are the ones I'm going to talk about for now. So yes, I'm going to be making models of myself. Once those models are completed and all the models I'm planning to make are completed, that's when VR chat streams are going to happen. Now, exactly how those streams are going to go, you'll see. You'll see how they're going to go. If you've followed me before on other stuff before AnR Gaming, then you probably have an idea of what those streams are going to be like. So feel free to dig. Those streams are still there. You can find them. Just, put in the effort and you'll find them. Oh, great. There's something falling from the sky making the screen blur. There we go. So yeah, I've been doing that. I've also been because I've been doing that, I've also been in VR quite a bit. Also, VR chat is one of them. Some of the worlds you can find in VR chat are so incredible. In fact, I think it was even yesterday. I think I was basically, I think I found some of the most beautiful, well-crafted worlds I think I've ever seen in there. And they're only getting better. People are getting better and better at making worlds in there. It really makes me want to get started with making worlds. Because the things people have made is just incredible. Truly is. It's truly incredible. Like, people's talents for what they've made. But even then, VR is quite good for me to just be sociable. Again, I'm in the right period of my work, so going out and being sociable isn't the easiest thing in the world for me. I wonder if I can just straight up kill her here. I am curious. It definitely seems like I might be able to. Oh no, it just disappears. No. That'd be fun. Defeat the boss before the boss fight even begins. But yeah, I've been enjoying all that stuff as well, which is very, very fun. So yeah, I'm enjoying... Basically, VR is also really good at trying to keep myself in a shape that isn't round. Don't be wrong, I've because of having to switch to the gluten-free diet, basically I've been having to do a lot of my own cooking, and basically I have a tendency to end up cooking a lot more vegetable-based dishes because they're easier and quicker for me to cook. Meat, to do meat right, it takes a while. And if I'm making something for my lunch or my dinner or whatever, if I'm making something to eat, it depends on which way you want to call it. Either way, if I'm making something to eat, meat can take a while unless I'm using like processed stuff. I'm making a sandwich or something like that. But again, I can't eat bread, so I don't tend to make sandwiches. So basically sandwiches don't tend to be a thing, so meat, unless it's leftovers, meat doesn't tend to be a thing I eat that often when I'm just cooking for myself. So that plus like VR stuff, generally trying to just be quite good. I'm also trying to get I noticed last time I was on the ships, the lockdowns are definitely taking a toll on my upper body strength, and in general my sort of like my endurance anyway, because believe it or not, being an audio engineer does take a lot of endurance out of you. You have to be able to run around, to be able to fix things quite quickly, or at least I do with what I do. So yeah, generally I've been trying to eat better anyway, but being gluten-free means that I have to know what's going into stuff and going into what I'm eating, so that in that regard it's been quite helpful. So yeah, I've been doing quite well with that. But yeah, VR chat's been really handy. I actually also joined I also joined the a group in it. I joined a group that also helped being sociable in that, and that being the Ancients of VR chat, where basically the whole group is basically like, yeah, we're older, we're not screaming kids that live for the memes, where we actually want to chat and make use of the program as it was intended. So that's kind of what that's for. That's basically what all that's for. Now, so you know what I'm going to do? Because we've got this music going right now, I'm going to turn down the music in the game. We'll turn off the music in the game for now. Yeah, music volume, we'll take that all the way to 0. And you know what? We'll turn those up to 8. There we go. So yeah, doing a lot of your stuff in VR chat, which is obviously very, 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 very fun. It really has made me want to do like make my own world in it, because I think that would be really, really fun. And yeah, other stuff I've been doing, again I've got my notes here, is I've actually been working on my mastering chamber when I'm making music, because basically I like the idea of having control over my music and being a mastering engineer, so I've been learning into stuff like that. So I finally decided to actually build a preset mastering strip, which I can use for whenever I'm doing mastering. So, yeah. And keep in mind, it's entirely a digital mastering strip. If I was trying to buy the stuff, that'd be stupid money. So, yeah. Yeah, it'd be stupid money if I was going to try that. But yeah, as I'm sure you can guess, because I work in the digital domain, there was a really, really annoying piece of news that came out today. So prepare yourself, this is rant time, because I ain't happy about this, and neither should anyone. If you're going to be a content creator in any regard, whether it's making music, literally doing anything, you're going to want to be listening to this, because this is stupid. So one of the biggest companies in audio production right now, one of the things you do is you buy plugins. and plugins are what you use to adjust your voice or do anything with sound, really. We have processing that we use on our voices to get a good consistent level, have it generally have that sort of radio broadcasty sound. I mean, even now you'd notice that my microphone is actually a good distance away from me, so we're not using the proximity effect to make the voice sound more natural with what we record. But generally I like that proximity effect to make things sound a bit bassy, so I've got like processing done on that, so we still have a pseudo proximity effect going on with the microphones. Both mine and Alex's, we have that built into how we run stuff. This is all stuff that can be talked about in, like, you know, other ways. Yeah, send it guard. No, right, interesting. But yeah, this has been updated. That's actually quite nice. Anyway, get back onto it. Yeah, so basically waves themselves have caused massive upheaval because, oh no, they're on our side, never mind. They've gone entirely subscription only. So if you want to ever try out any Waves plugins, you've got a week to try them out. Otherwise that you have to use one of their bundled licenses. Like you have to buy all of their licenses. And that's massively put me off the company entirely. And the problem is, let me explain to you how it used to work. The way Waves used to make their money is that when you bought a plugin off them, you basically had access to that plugin for a year. You had updates to the plugin for a year, and that was it. If in that year there was any major updates, such as different version updates or anything, then yeah, you got them. Oh, this strike has changed. Oh wow. Anyway, yeah. So yeah, you'd update. You'd better update for a year, and after that, you'd have the Waves update plan, which capped out at a certain price. With the idea being that if you had a lot of Waves plugins, they're not going to make you pay a stupid amount to update them all, and you'd maybe do that every year. Not maybe, well, the intention was every year, but in reality, you'd maybe do it just every so often, just so that you could make sure that everything was working and that everything would work with everything you had. The problem is now that they've moved to this subscription-based service, basically if you've got perpetual license, you can't update anymore. You just straight up cannot update your plugins. The plugins you paid to be able to have perpetually, you can no longer update unless you pay for the unless you go to subscription model. Basically, if you bought any of their plugins, they don't care about you anymore. They do not care. You cannot upgrade those handful of plugins you've got. You have to go on the subscription. Which, sure, the Waves update plan cost about the same, and like per year if you're going for the high-end bundle, it costs the same. But here's the thing, you never did the Waves update plan every year, because the Waves update plan is about £300 every year. You never did it every year. You do it every so year to guaranteed, like if like new processors came out that you had to have fixes for, that's when you do them. You wouldn't do it every year because it's stupid money. And here's the thing, even the plugins that I've got now, I was actually considering, like around summertime-ish, back when I'll probably be finishing on the ships again, I was going to update, so then I would have stuff updated again, and it's good for making use of any new stuff I wanted to make use of. Because I was even hoping by then that maybe they'd have oversampling in the plugins. Spoilers, none of their plugins have oversampling. And again, you can't try out plugins anymore. But one second, I've got notes so I can keep on track of this, because honestly, when I first heard about this, if I went into this rant, yeah, I would have gone off hard on them, and I need something to like channel me. So one of the main issues I have right now is that, let's say I go for make use of the pack what happens to my licenses? If I cancel that, are my licenses gone? Do my licenses never get updated? Can I never... Are my perpetual licenses stuck on that now? But then that also means that my licenses that I've bought are practically worthless now. They're slowly dying. And that's stupid. It's horrible. It's... This is the thing. In order... Right now, if you want to use... Let's say you want to use one plugin from Waves. And don't get me wrong, they make some good plugins. They use their plugins. There's like 2 or 3 plugins of theirs that I use really regularly. But I can't use them now. I can't use them going forward because they'll break. At some point they'll break, and I don't know when that is, but at some point they're going to break, and unless I pay for access to everything, I don't get them anymore. I just straight up don't get them anymore. And that is really annoying because here's the thing. In order to get use of the plugins that I use the most, I have to use the highest tier because the lower tier doesn't include them. That's the wrong person. This is that's the wrong cabal. Come on, Jack. I'm concentrating on the rant and not the enemies in front of me. So yeah, the plugins I used were basically the headphone ones, where what it is, whenever it was late at night and I can't use my monitors or my speakers, I would use a headphone amplifier, the headphone plugin, where what it would do is it would cancel out my headphones, so it's a completely flat response, and simulates the sound of if I was in a studio. Incredibly useful for mixing. That is included in both sets of the bundles they have. However, the really useful plugins I like, which is the omni-channel and the parallel particles, those are only included in the higher tier. So basically, to make use, the offer that they go for and that advertise everywhere is, it would be 25 I nearly said euros, $25 a month to use 3 plugins, and at no point do you ever own them. I mean, sure, technically you own everything else as well, and they add stuff to it all the time, but again, you're looking about £300 a year, and that's how much I would have to pay to use 3 plugins that I like. And even then, it goes back to the whole same issue that I've had for a few times. It's like, I've bought these things that it's really annoying because they don't give you the option to ever buy. The problem is, it makes me so angry when they do this that I can't properly voice my frustration, like, at all. It's really difficult for me to voice my frustration of how much this annoys me, because, put simply, subscriptions for a tool, a product, suck. Subscriptions for a service, that makes sense. I mean, the example I've got here is, paying for a haircut. Sure, you can do it yourself, but you can also pay someone to do it for you. You're paying for a service. That makes sense. What doesn't make sense is having to pay repeatedly for a hammer. Because that's in the land of audio and making and manipulating audio. Plugins are our tools. That's how they work. Yes, you can lease those tools if you really want to. Like, let's say you're doing construction, you can lease a JCB, or you can buy one. The option is there. The option to buy one is there. And eventually with lease, you could eventually lease to own as well, where you're paying it off in installments. And eventually, if you end up deciding, actually, we don't want it, okay, that's money off something else which you can lease to own instead. It's like, but yeah, paying to lease, it's always lease to own. And there are other brands that do this better, but Waves, it's just like, everyone that bought anything from them already has basically been told, go away, we don't care about you anymore. But there's also this massive barrier to entry for using their products. Before, you could get them on sale, and they were a good deal. Like, you could get the Omnichannel for like £20, and that was a good deal. That was good, because the Omnichannel is genuinely really, really useful for me able to handle multiple things all in one plugin. But now it's locked behind paying £25 a month. That's stupid, and it might come up, and it comes with a whole bunch of other stuff, which is like, oh, you have this whole bunch of expanse of all these other plugins you can have. It doesn't matter. You may never use them, and a lot of them, they're just different flavors on doing the same thing. So once you find the style that works for you, you don't need those other plugins anymore, because you're going to have your favorites that you go back to and you use. It's like when people decide if they, on a guitar, do they want to use SSL G series or E series? You know, you may well use one or the other. You're not going to necessarily need both, and if you come up with a style that works well for you and you only need the one, that's all you need. So suddenly paying extra for a plugin you're not going to use and you're never going to use is ridiculous and stupid. And even then, the idea with plugins is that you're not going to just use a single brand. There's so many different brands out there with so many different takes. You use a variety. And if this tries to set a trend of other people just going full subscription, which, by the way, that subscription has started as well, people are just going to stop. I don't understand how these companies work and think this is a great idea, because Pro Tools did the exact same thing. You can only use Pro Tools by subscription, and sure, month on month, it's a relatively low cost. But over time, that stacks up. And over time, you're paying, in a lifetime, paying ridiculous amounts for getting this software, which you then compare that to, say, Reaper, where you pay once. You pay £50 once, or if you're using it commercially, you pay £250 once, and you've got it for life. You've got every update for life. And it's like, by comparison, how can they justify this stuff? Because it just heightens this gap between what the pros are using versus what everyone else can actually afford if you're getting started. Because initially my go-to was going to say, if you're wanting to get a safe bet, like plugin from a big brand that is going to do well and be able to handle everything for you, it was the Omnichannel, because it includes in the name, it can handle everything. You can handle everything at it, and it can do it. It's useful on everything. It's a channel strip that does everything, so it has inherent quite a lot of different useful qualities to it. But the fact that now it's stuck behind a £25 payroll that you're paying every month means I can't reasonably justify that to anyone anymore. Same with Pro Tools, I can't justify them anymore because you can't own it. At no point can you ever own that software. You're always leasing it. You never own it. I mean, don't get me wrong, there are other companies that do a sort of bundle thing as well, but they eventually let you own everything. An example of that would be sort of like Plugin Alliance, which includes a massive amount of plugins, actually. They have it set up so that either you can buy the everything bundle, which is again the same £300 a month, £300 per year, but at the end of the year you will get 10 perpetual licenses for any 10 plugins you want. Doesn't matter what the plugin is, you get it. You get 10 plugins you get to keep. You can cancel it and you keep those 10 plugins. So you could use that for like a year, get an entire year to try out everything for £300, and then you can choose like the 10 most expensive plugins and you get to keep them, which, considering some of those plugins in there can be £300, that's not bad. That's pretty good. Or even then, they have lease to own, where eventually you pay off a package that ends up being around £800, and you end up getting to keep everything. Granted, it'll only be whatever was included in that package, but you eventually get to keep everything. So it's like, what are they doing? What are they doing? So it's like, yeah, this is why I stopped using Pro Tools. Because the only upgrade path I had was to go on subscription, because I have a perpetual license of Pro Tools 11, but eventually Pro Tools 11 will break and I can't use it anymore. She's like, what am I going to do? So I transitioned to Reaper. And the thing is, more and more, all this is doing is giving a compelling argument for two things, and that is either to pirate or just invest in hardware, because at least with hardware you own it. It's yours and it's never going anywhere. You own it and it's yours. And honestly, I've been wanting to create a preamp section and EQ sections I can work with in 500 gear, with 500 series gear, just so then, I mean, that was my eventual plan, so I could phase out using the wave stuff anyway, because again, it doesn't have oversampling, which is a massive problem that they just haven't fixed. They just straight up haven't fixed in absolutely ages. Just, yeah, no oversampling. Any sort of distortion is limited to that, which is not great. Again, if you don't know what oversampling is, don't worry, but the fact that it's something that's pretty much every other company includes, but Waves just straight up doesn't, is, yeah. Basically, it means that after a certain sample rate, the plugin becomes unusable. You can't use Wave plugins in certain sample rates, like, at all. And again, now they're like, oh, we want to charge you this much, and everyone who's bought our stuff, go away. And it's just awful. An awful situation, it really is. But even then, it's like, the problem is it's other people try to follow that, because it's like, using Pro Tools, the subscription for that is like £10 a month. If you use Adobe as well, like Adobe is £15 a month. And then this as well, on top of that, is extra a month as well. And then there's the Pantone thing, where to use Pantone colors, you've got to pay extra as well. And it's like, guys, we can't keep doing subscriptions. Why do you think people are going back to using pirating everything? You're forcing people to pirate. Again, that's all you're doing. People have been like, yeah, this is, sure, it's easier, but we're not made of money, so we're just going to go back to pirating. That's all you're doing. You're forcing people into pirating. Or you're giving them a really compelling reason to do so. And it's all your own doing. It's entirely being fed through greed, and it's honestly awful, annoying, and I hate it. Which is why basically now, I mean, I'm glad with what we've got on here, we don't use any Waves plugins, because again, we can't get them to work. Waves plugins are asking this much of you, and we can't even get them to work in OBS. Waves plugins for us do not work in OBS. I mean, we wouldn't use them anyway, because then Alex would have to buy them. And again, with how they are now, they're awful anyway. So, yeah, they're not worth buying. They're not worth using. Unless they're seriously going to overhaul everything to make them actually good and usable again. But even then, they're not worth it. I want to know who at these companies keeps coming up with these ideas. It's like the whole thing with AMD and Nvidia, where, I mean, don't get me wrong, AMD is always cheaper, and I'm still happy with what I got, because as far as I got them at a good price. But even then, compared to the price they used to be these cards at, is still ridiculous. The series of card that I've got now is the equivalent to an Nvidia 80 series. And they used to be maximum about £500. And don't get me wrong, with inflation and all that other stuff, sure, the fact that I paid £600 for it that's the whole thing. But that's after years, and I still consider that a good price. I'm happy with the fact that I managed to get it for £600. I'm happy with that. This card is going to last me a long time. But the fact that now the new cards are like $1,000, and Nvidia are having the 70 series, like a 70 Ti, be as much as it is. The 70 series is a 70 series-ish is roughly meant to be mid-range. Mid-range is now like £700 plus. Who thought that was a good idea? All these pricing things are just showing off the greed of these companies, and they've massively lost touch with reality. And I don't get who in these marketing teams at any point is being like, hey, this is a great idea, let's just blatantly show off our greed. That sounds like a great idea. I mean, sure, it means that I'm probably never going to get sponsored by these certain companies, but at this point, I don't think I want to be, because as far as I'm concerned, that's money that's just, they're just over engorging for the sake of it, as far as I'm concerned. And don't even get me started on the state on some AAA games. I mean, Jesus Christ. The fact that they're meant to be the most polished stuff, and this is stuff that I have arguments with Alex about a bit, actually, where, oh yeah, they're more polished, and it's like, no, they're not. Indie games are way more polished because indie game developers actually care. Because if an indie game developer puts out a bad game, they're not going to get paid. They're not going to get money. AAA developer, oh, they've got investments and all this other stuff, invested in cryptocurrency and all this stuff, investing that into games, despite the fact that the common consensus with people online is like, yeah, we don't want that in the games. We don't want our games to become a job. We want them to be fun. Put the fun back in gaming. Make games fun again. You know, I don't want games to be a work, basically. I mean, I know that's a bit, you know, out there considering I'm streaming and I'm running a YouTube channel, but the idea is that I want to still be able to play games to relax. I don't want it to be a constant thing of like, well, I can make money if I do this. And it's like, no, I don't want to consider that which when I'm just casually playing. It's it's just annoying. It's really annoying the way things are just generally going. It's like a lot of these companies have massively lost track on how people are actually reacting, and it's just an absolute pain. Because yeah, now if you want to be a content creator and get really nice stuff that makes your voice sound good, don't use waves, because it's ridiculous. The money you could spend on waves, you could instead spend on Epidemic Sound to get licenses to really, really good music. And even then, there's so much good music that's for free now that people are putting out, which, by the way, any of my music, people can feel free to use for streams. I very deliberately did not upload it to the YouTube content, to any sort of content ID system. For that reason, I don't want it. I want people to be able to use my music in streams. Feel free, use this. It's never going to be in there. If I ever get like signed to anything, my music is never going to be content IDable. As far as I'm concerned, use it for streams, use it in stuff. That's how stuff gets out there. Copyright wise, it's still mine. It's not yours, but feel free to do remixes. Just, you know, be a good person and credit. You know, just be a decent human being. Unlike what these companies are being like, you know. Just be a reasonable, good person, and you know, stuff will all be good. You know, we won't have a problem. It's that easy. Just, I wonder, I really do wonder sometimes. Because these corporations and companies are made up of people. How can they be so blind when they're made up of people that live in the same society we do? Someone thought that was a great idea. Like, just everything they're doing. Someone thought that was a great idea. And it's not. It's stupid. And they wonder why they're making so little money. It's like, yeah, read the room. In fact, even better, read the room. Read it. It's literally that easy. Literally, it really is. It's genuinely made me angry. And no doubt there's going to be comments saying, oh, but you don't understand. No, I do understand. I do understand how these things work. You want to maximize profits, but at a certain point, you have to take into consideration what the consumer is going to be like. You can't maximize profits at the expense of the actual consumer. Because otherwise the consumer's not going to buy. You can't maximize profits if no one's buying. It's all good being all these hypotheticals. You've got to take reality into consideration. People aren't endless money machines. We're in the middle of a cost of living crisis. Now is not the time to be pulling this stupid stuff. In fact, anything, you should be respecting people's time a whole lot more. It's like, jeez, I don't get these companies sometimes. Which is why I'm far more happy to support smaller people, like smaller business and smaller people who are actually like putting in the effort and not just doing stupid stuff. I'm way more happy to do that stuff nowadays. Or I'm at least happy to work, like, buy stuff from people that do good. I mean, for example, Noctua, they have a phenomenal, like, upgrade path. Well, their, all their stuff, basically. It's one of the reasons why I chose a Noctua cooler for my computer, because they have a amazing upgrade path. And they do right by their community. They do right by the people who buy their products. You know, where possible, you can get a free bracket that'll upgrade your cooler to the latest socket. And it's like, that's amazing. No one else does that. Why does no one else do that? Or EVGA, who would go out of their way to fix cards, and instead Nvidia knocked them out of the GPU space just with how bad Nvidia was as a company to work with. And it's like, I don't get these companies. What are they doing? There's a reason why everyone loved EVGA, because if you had a problem, they actually helped you. You know? And it's a shame, because I would have loved to have gone with EVGA for my upgrade, but after the stuff came out with Nvidia, I couldn't in good conscience go with Nvidia. And even then, Nvidia cards, or even now, you pay extra for nothing. You pay extra for a name. And, yeah, just not good. Which I know that's always been a thing, like name brand recognition and all that, but it's like, come on, we have access to the entirety of the internet. Name brand recognition shouldn't be a thing. You should go by what's actually best. And for like 90% of people, it's not Nvidia. Why do you care about AI features unless you're working in AI? You know? It's just, yeah. Just yeah. No, that's kind of all I got to say on the matter. It's just an absolute pain. It really is. It's just an absolute pain to deal with. And the thing is, I fully know that this is gonna that rant has basically meant that certain brands will no longer work with me, and I am fine with that. If you will not work with me because of this rant where I didn't even mention you, then good riddance. As far as I was concerned, good riddance. I didn't want to work with you anyway then. Simpler. Anyway, let's check on how this is doing. Yep, one more strike and we get an upgrade. At that point, we'll go out to tower. We'll go up those points, and then we'll get rank 7. Again, I know I could have done the nightfall to get there a bit quicker, but I'm very deliberately holding off doing the nightfall because, hey, get subscribed. There's going to be a video on it. That little caramelly bit at the end is actually really, really nice. But funny enough, my absolute favorite canned Coke drink, or imitation Coke drink technically, is Tesco's version of Diet Coke. To me, that is but in the cans, the canned version of Tesco Diet Coke, as far as I'm concerned, is the best tasting Coke out there. Now don't get me wrong, compared to that, I would rather have a Dr. Pepper, but I don't really consider a Dr. Pepper to be like Coke. I consider them to be kind of different things. But yeah. But no, Tesco Diet Coke in the cans is oh so nice. Way better than actual Coke as far as I'm concerned. It tastes phenomenal. Well, I will say, the fact that the little caramelly bit that this one has, which is Vive Cola, also really, really nice. Yeah, I can actually get it to play now that I'm not ranting. I can play better now. There we go. There we are. Down. The good thing is that metal works really well for this game. Well, this is such a metal game that I don't think I can understate it. Like any metal soundtrack you put in with this, it kind of just works. Like I've done strikes and stuff while listening to the Pentakill Redemption track. Or even playing like Crucible and Iron Banner. Just feels so good. Makes you feel like you're like unkillable, unstoppable. Especially when the actions you take just happen to line up like perfectly synced with music. It's wonderful. Die, Thrall. Fun fact, the first time I met the Thrall in Destiny 1, they legitimately massively scared me. Because they just appeared out of the dark. I mean, keep in mind this was like 9 years ago as well, so... I'd have been like 16 at the time. Hey, rank 60! Rank 60! Rank 60! You know it. Oh, we've got a light-bearing hive. Die. I'm the streamer. I get to do the kill. Oh, let's get some heavy ammo. Nearly forgot about that. Yeah, I really wanted to get to Guardian rank 7. I mean, yeah, but we are now allied with Elixir, which is always fun. I'm stranding. Let's go! Let's strand all over this place. I think that's the thing that I'd like to think that my builds maximize, is just the fun factor. It's really playing into that idea of you just being overwhelmingly powerful, but also you're having fun, you're having a good time. You know, all that stuff. This is what I like to maximize. I like to maximize fun. I like games to be fun. If game's not fun, what's the point? Game's not fun, I'll play another game. And as far as I'm concerned, this is a very fun game. Heck, haha. And we're gonna play some... I was gonna say we'll play some basketball. Oh, there we go, you can have it. There we go. Interestingly enough, this song that's playing right now sounds like the intro to Firewind's Ode to Leonidas. Noble souls of this land, if you walk with me, I will tend to your wounds. I will lead you to Sparta, under the stars of the gods themselves. If you know the song, you know that this sounds very similar to it. And to you, thy enemy of this land, I say, I'm probably gonna butcher this. Mololave, Mololave, come and take it. And then it goes into the song, which is really good. It's a really good song. I see you. We see them. We see them. There we go. Perish. And he's in the bubble. And in we go. Now we enter the mindscape. Ooh, very nearly messed up there. No, I'm using light. I'm using darkness. Can this be any more backwards? Oh, there's the spear. These guys obviously don't really know what they're doing. They didn't play this season, maybe. Or maybe they're just dealing with ad clear for a bit now. You never know. One or the other. They could be. Could just be dealing with ads. That's never a bad thing. And see, I'm dead. So never a bad thing dealing with the ads. That one's gone. Now you. Yeah, being suppressed. And go. Let's have to safety. There we go. Let's defeat more of Savathun. Yeah, you thought at a certain point she'd actually like come and realize that I'm like, killing her, because then I've nearly killed her. Come on, I believe in you. Hey, you noticed me just in time to die, and so did I. Never mind. Now we fight you. Prepare to get stranded. Dead. Done. Nice. Give me the prime. Give me that prime. There we go. Nice. Nice. And that's some good drip. And you already left, so I can commend you. You miss out. Oh. So we've got some pretty powerful stuff now. So let's head back to the tower and see if we can't finally hit it. Let's go. Oh man, I've got prime engrams waiting as well, so chances are I'm gonna hit him. So as I am right now, I need to technically go up 2 levels. But if I can make my armor and stuff go up as well, that should be good. After all, my PvP build was only 1 under. So this is doable. It's definitely doable. So now we're gonna... Oh, I don't have many legendary shards left either. Okay, that's all of those I could get. Gotta need some legendary shards. Okay, let's see what you got. Oh, okay, that's good. That's good. What's over here? Lots of stuff, lots of stuff. Okay, so we can't really deal with that yet. So armor-wise, we've got everything. And armor's kind of the main thing we want to focus on. So that we don't have anything better, and that I can get rid of anyway. Yeah, that's 9.6, that's worse, so we're going rid of that. That's at 9.8, so it might only be 1. But sometimes it's just the 1 is all you really need. That's at 9.9. I don't have anything that's actually at. That's above, so that's good. Oh, yes. Oh, we're close. So what I'm going to do for now is I'm going to put my Hawk Moon away in the vault. Well, you can tell I've been in the game a while. The stuff isn't loading properly. So that can go in there. That'll get rid of... oh, excuse me, that as well. That's not better. That can go for now. Because the good thing is, once I get there, prime engrams and stuff can just be used to level out everything else, which is quite nice. Now we go here. That. Monte Carlo, you're going up in power. Yes! We have done it! Look at that. 1,800. We go here. Claim. We are now ready to go rank up to rank 7. Here we go. Now is time. Boom. I am rank 7. I am rank 7. Yes. Also, just look at the amount of commendations I'm getting just coming in. Jeez. So there's lots of stuff I've already technically done. But now the next thing is getting up to rank 8. Now you see, I've got a new list of things to get started on. Which is basically those. But I've done that one, so that one's done. I've done both of those, so... And now I've done all 3 of those. I'm already on my way. I'm already 6 on my way. So let's see, what sort of stuff do I have to do? So... You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to turn that off. So I can turn that off so we can properly read everything. So, Lightfall Legendary Part 1. Complete the Lightfall campaign on Legendary difficulty, which is something I'm going to plan to do on stream anyway. So we are going to be working towards 8 as well, which is always fun. So, complete Lightfall Legendary Part 1, Part 2, and complete 3 weekly missions with an acquire a score of 1000k. And I'm guessing do that 3 times as well. Okay. Seems Defiance. Complete the current seasonal activity or exotic quest on the highest difficulty. I reckon we could get that done, especially considering it doesn't say you have to do it solo, so we could always do that with someone, other people. Complete a Nightfall on Legend difficulty. Whoa, well, we are going to try and do that with Alex, so in the video, so we'll see how that goes, because we're going to test out the different levels of the Lightfalls and see what we can do. So who knows, will we do it? We'll find out. Get platinum rewards with it as well. We will try. Get a legend score. Ooh, we can try that as well. Complete the raids. Complete King's Fall and Root of Nightmares. Spire of the Watcher Dungeon and Duality. To be honest, those are things I do want to do, so we'll get onto that at some point. Complete a Legend Lost Sector solo. Do that 5 times. And complete one without dying. We'll have to try. And then commendations wise, give or receive commendations in raids, dungeons, or non-matchmaking nightfalls. Ooh, we'll have to see how that goes. And inquire a commendation score of 790. Well, We've got a lot of work to do before to get to all that. But for now, we're going to end things here. Thank you so much for watching and staying with me. It's been an interesting, weird, long stream, but yeah, nonetheless, thank you so much for, well, watching. Thank you very much for watching, and be sure to subscribe. As you may have seen, we have more streams coming out this week. This is a week of Destiny. On Wednesday, it's going to be me and Alex playing through. Exactly what we're going to do, we will find out. I know Alex is wanting to try and catch up the gap between me and him. Who knows? We'll see if I can go even further and spread that gap a little bit further. But who knows? We'll have to see. Until then, be sure to subscribe. Give the video a like if you liked it. And I'll see you next time. Until then, goodbye.